Hey nail babes, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor Orr. Welcome for those who are new. Today I'm going to show you how I did this really pink on pink birthday set. This is a new client of mine and this is her 20th birthday. Right now I'm just in the process of prepping her nails for acrylic application. If you are not new to this channel, then you've seen me do this several times before. So this entire process is going to be sped up. Right now I'm just sizing the tips to make sure everything is even, and then we're going to get into shaping the tips and application. Now that the tips are all shaped up, I'm going to go in with my e-file on a medium to low speed. I'm using a sanding band and I'm going to file, I'm going to be blending the tips in with the natural nails. Once the tips are all blended, I'm going to use my duster and dust off any excess from the filing, just so I can prep the nails for the dehydrator and primer. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Now I'm adding the primer. I'm using Young Nails, and Young Nails says that you have to apply this primer twice, so I'm going over each nail 2 times. This is a photo inspired set, so she showed me a photo. If I can find the photo, I will add it in on the screen. But right now, I'm just going to be going over the nails and just making sure that it looks kind of like the photo for the base. My camera kept cutting out, so I wasn't able to show you the application for the first hand, but both hands are a little bit different, so I am going to show both hands in this video. This finger is going to have lots and lots of bling, so I'm going to use like a pink glitter base, and then I'm capping this with clear acrylic. Once I'm finished the acrylic application and filing and everything, I'm going to go in with some designs on this finger. I'm going to do designs for majority of these fingers, but you'll see. I'm going to let you go ahead and watch the rest of this acrylic application, and when I'm finished, I'll be back with the shaping.
Girls love Beyonce, girls love to fuck with your conscience. Girls hate when niggas go missing. It's chalky, you ain't no different. These days it's hard to meet women. Feel like my love life is finished. I've been avoiding commitment. That's why I'm in this position. I'm scared to let somebody in on this. No new friends, no. You know how this shit go. You got your fair share, but they call you up, they call your phone. You try to act like it's just me, but I've been not alone. But if you're alone, then say my name, say my name. No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you, but you ain't rocking, girl. Say my name, you like you got to stay there. Baby, you ought to say my name. Say my name, say my name, say my name. Say my name, no one is around you. Yeah. Say my name, say my name. 'Cause those other men are practice. This ain't no time for acting. This ain't no time for games. This ain't no time for uncertainty. This ain't no time for blocking your phone and not coming home and starting some shit. When I'm in the zone, this is what I've been saying. No new friends, no. You know how this shit go. This is not 4 years ago. Time escapes me now. Forget how it felt when this shit moves slow. I come through in whips that make the young boy take the long way home. All my young boys round me scream, get money and fuck these hoes. Where we learn these values, I know what to tell you. I'm just trying to find a reason not to go out every evening. I need someone that will help me. Because someone besides myself. I need someone I leave to the front door. We wanna hide no more. Rush that side no more. Neither of us wanna put aside no more. No, not alone. Nothing was the same. Get your ass alone. Let me make you say my name. Say my name. Say my name. When no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you, but you ain't rocking, girl. Say my name. Say my name. You like you got to stay there. Baby, you ought to say my name. 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 And no one is around you. Trust me, this is not revenge. I get along better with your friend. Oh, it's wrong, I know. Walking on that rain. If it ain't you, we just don't say. Do it to the bottom with the blind outside when you say. It was just saying, when it's that way. Turn back if you gon' crazy. See what you yeah. If I slide, but it's fine, just to press my hands on you, yeah. If I don't put me on, then nothing must be stressful. Talk the talk, but walk it back it up. Just can't let go. Just make me special. Whoa, yeah. But you won't admit that. No matter what you do or try, we gon' get back. You know that you can't deny, baby, that's that. Last time I tried to put the ice where your wrist at. I put your feet up in the sky till you came back. You know that you would be alive, you ain't missed that. Just play yes, no. And I keep you waiting 'cause I said so. Going, I swear you're crazy. Someone that's close to you reached out to me just to see if we dance. Trust me, this ain't about revenge. But now I get along better with your friend. And it's wrong, I know. But again, trust me, this ain't about revenge. I get along better with your friend. And it's wrong, I know. It's wrong, I know.
The application is all finished, and now I'm going to go in with my e-file, and I'm going to use that to seal the cuticle area and make the shape smooth. So In majority of my videos, I show you how to do hand filing with your standard 8080 grit file or 6060 grit file. But for this video, I'm only going to be using my e-file, and the results are pretty much the same. I pulled out my hand file, but I kind of wanted to see if I was going to be able to get the same result with the e-file. So what I did was I used my hand file to fix the shape. So if I had, basically I just lined my hand file up sidewall to sidewall and just recreated the square shape, and then everything else was done using my e-file. That's what I'm using right now. I'm using it on a medium to high speed, and I'm using my 5-in-1 bit from Pana. This is a fine bit or extra fine bit. Now I'm going in with my nail buffer, and I'm just going to be smoothing the entire surface of these nails. This is going to make it extra easy to apply nail art and your top coat. Everything's going to be smooth. Now I'm all finished with the shaping. This is what the nails are looking like. I'm gonna dust off her nails, and I'm gonna have her go and wash her nails or wash her hands with soap and warm water. While she's washing her hands, I'm just getting everything ready. So I'm taking all the bling out and everything that I'm gonna be using for her nail design. Once she's back from the next room, I'm going to be taking a lint-free wipe and some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just cleaning off her nails to make sure there's no residue or any acrylic left behind. And now I'm getting into the designs. I watched a video on YouTube recently. It was like a YouTube short, and I really think that I'm about to transition this channel over to more of like a movie night when I do nails. So I think that would be really cool. I know some of you like when I do Reddit stories, and I found out that there was a scary side of Reddit. So I think for the last portion of this video, I'm going to go ahead and add in a spooky Reddit story. So we're just going to get right into it. This first story is titled Weird Coincidences. I just saw a post where the op said they dreamed about their childhood friend moving in, and it came true. And it reminded me of some of the crazy dreams and premonitions I've had. The first one I ever remember was when I was around 4 or 5, and I dreamed my aunt was in a car accident. The next day, she was in a car accident. In the first grade, I had a fake pair of glasses. I dreamed my best friend was wearing them while pushing me on the swings, and I accidentally came back and kicked her in the face, breaking the glasses. The next day, that exact scenario played out. When I was 23, I was on a cell phone playing with that same best friend, and while I was driving to work, I had this whole scenario auto-playing in my head where I went into the Verizon store and asked them to remove her from my plan because she had unfortunately passed away. I remember snapping out of it at a red light, completely horrified, and wondering why the F I would ever daydream something like that. The next week, I was in the Verizon store asking them to remove her phone from my plan because she had actually passed away. Absolute nightmare. In 2014, my grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer and stage 3 lung cancer. After treatments, she went into remission, and every checkup came back clear. One night in January of 2020, I was asleep and suddenly sat straight up in my bed, bawling. I didn't know what was happening or why I was so upset, but I knew it was about my grandma. The next day, my dad called to tell me her cancer had returned. I don't know what any of this means, except that I have some type of crazy intuition. Girl, your intuition is quite serious. I feel like this is a gift from God. It might feel like a curse, but this intuition is crazy. Like, you are like a psychic. Like, you can literally see the future. It's wild. What do you guys think about this story? While we're on this topic, I guess I should go ahead and share some of my experiences with you all. So, when I was younger, I used to have an imaginary friend. I had an imaginary friend. I no longer remember his name, but I could call up a family member and get his name for you, because this is what happened. When I was a child, I played with this little boy, and he was my friend. And I would tell my family about this friend. I would tell everyone the things we talked about and, stuff like that. So one day my mom actually discussed this with a family member. I have a cousin to the aunt in which that was told the story of what happened. Hopefully I'm making sense, but my cousin told me that when she was born a twin. Her twin brother's name was the same name of my imaginary friend. That twin, unfortunately, he died at birth. So there was a message that I told my family member. And I believe on the lines of that he was okay. My aunt broke down in tears when the story was originally told to her, because she said, "That's my son." And it was, I guess, a shock to her that this would come down in generations, and someone else bringing up this child that she unfortunately lost at birth. The second thing that I guess was wild when I was a kid was that I used to tell my mom that someone was knocking at the door, and then they would show up. Like, there was no one at the door when my mom would check the door, but then like a few minutes later, someone would actually come to the door. And I thought that was pretty crazy too. And then the final one, there was a dream that I had. I had a dream that my uncle was in prison. It actually was a really crazy dream. Like, I dreamed my uncle had like SHOT me. I know it's wild, but it was a very scary dream to me when I was that small. Obviously, it was scary. And I had a dream that he went to jail and that he was on the news. Come to find out later down the line, my uncle actually had been to jail. And he was on the news. But no, he didn't SHOOT anyone. It's weird. And no, I will not be discussing the last scenario. I will not be discussing anything because it's a family matter. But I will tell you another story. This next story is titled, "Brother Had the Same Dream About My Grandfather as Me." Back in the early 90s, I had a very strange dream about my grandfather. And when I told my brother, he made it very clear that he had almost the same exact dream by actually stopping me and then describing exactly what I was about to tell him. The thing is, our grandfather was still alive when we both had this dream. He wouldn't pass on for another 12 years or so. It seemed like maybe somewhere in Central America. For this reason, I call it the Panama Dream. In the Panama Dream, I'm with my grandfather where I met up with my grandfather in this jungle resort kind of place with old ruins and other people hanging out. The jungle was beautiful and flowers everywhere, The mood was like we were preparing for an adventure. Next thing I know, I have a backpack and we are walking through the jungle. It's funny though, because my grandfather is just wearing normal grandpa clothes from the 70s and 80s. Dress pants and thin short sleeve work shirt. No backpack, no water, etc. To me, this is an adventure. To him, this is just like a walk or something. Anyway, we come to rise where we can see the tops of jungle canopy below. And as it ascends towards the strange outcropping that most looks like the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, apparently this is our destination. We finally arrive at the base of this tower and it's now time to climb. It's very hard, but my grandpa is doing just fine, scrambling up the rocks and sheer surfaces. About halfway up, I'm exhausted and I don't think I can go any further. My grandfather scrambles back down and says, if you need to rest, you should rest. But take these. This is where my brother interjects and says exactly what I was about to tell him when I told him about the dream. This is the brother. He said, did he hand you several golden hexagon-shaped pills or gems or something and say, for luck? Me, what the F? Yes. And when he gets to the top, this is the brother, and when he gets to the top, you can see what he sees, which is a vast prairie. And he walks off into the distance. Me, yes. So there's an annoying part to this. Years later, when we brought this up in a conversation after our grandpa had passed on, and he asked if he remembers that day when we described the same dream, get this, he doesn't remember. Ugh. Oh my God, I would be so annoyed and so PO'd. Like, how do you not remember the dream that we both shared? Like, what? But girl, this is what I took from this. Maybe this was your memory. Maybe this was your dream. It maybe wasn't for him to remember. Just like I can't remember. Maybe I can't remember the name of my imaginary friend right now. But it wasn't for me. The message wasn't for me. It was for my aunt. She lost her son. So maybe your job was done. Like you were supposed to share that same dream, but it had more meaning to you than it may have had for your brother. The same way me telling my aunt this story of my imaginary friend and my mom telling my aunt this story of an imaginary friend may have had more meaning for her than it had for me. Therefore, I don't remember and don't need to remember. What do you guys think about this? I think that, I don't know, I really love story times. I really love stories. I really love the supernatural world. It's always something that has interested me. But that's all for today's video. Here are the photos and videos of these snails. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I touch that 5 for you. I do that 3 times 16. I testify for you. I told that like you that bitch.